Now, today I want to speak about how you can increase the possibilities to take a very good entry in the market. Now, for those of you that know my work, you probably see the types of entries that I do take in the market, and I'll explain to you guys kind of the concept that I go through before I do take an entry. But before I get there, first of all, I want to say thank you for all of you for your support. And then if you are new here to the channel, please hit that subscribe button because it would be nice to have you as a subscriber. And if you enjoy the content, please smash that like button because it would really help the YouTube algorithm. Now, today I want to speak about the types of data that we get or data that we get, right? So the first that we know is Forex sentiment data. Now, this Forex sentiment data refers to what the retail traders are doing in the market. Why is this important? You want to know what retail traders are doing in the market because you always almost want to be on the opposite side of what they are doing. And why do I say so? We can see our retail traders are short. 68% of them are short, but we can see how the market doesn't agree with that because we can see how the market was quite bullish. Why? Because they don't want us to make any money. So the first thing you want to look at, not the first thing, but one of the things you want to look at is before you take a buying decision or before anyone tells you to go and buy something or go sell something, or when you get that pop-up from your 100 Telegram groups that says buy this, the one thing that you can do is come and look at this data and see, whoa, I don't agree with that. I'm rather going to stay out because I'm literally doing what the rest of everyone else is doing. Because you want to follow the smart money. Okay, you want to go where the people with the actual money. You can't follow your friend with a 0.01. Your friends are, I'm trading 0.01. Do you trade? You can't follow your friend. You want to follow the people that trades 200 lots, 200 lots, 500 lots. Those are the big banks, hedge funds, and institutions. Now, that is the sentiment data. This data tells you what retail traders are doing in the market. A tip, if you see that more of them are short, you probably want to look for a buy. And if you see more of them are in the long, you probably want to look for a sell. Next thing we want to look at the fundamental data. Now the fundamental data drives the long-term momentum of the market. The fundamental data also tells us how well a country is doing because the strength of a country's currency is dependent on the strength of a country's economy. Sorry about that. Economy. So if the economy is doing well, the currency will do well as well. Now that data we only get from the fundamental data that gets released directly from the big boys in that country as well, not from your cousin or from your mentor. Like your mentor is not there releasing this policy meeting when it's the big boys, not even the hedge funds and the big institutions. Like they don't release this data. So this data gets released as well. Now this is fundamental data. Fundamental data drives the long-term momentum of the market until another high impact news event come out for that currency. Then you can expect either a pullback or a continuation. Now if you look at the AUD, for instance, now this is the monetary policy meetings. Now if you don't have an idea of what the monetary policy meeting means, it's basically, to put it into perspective, it's basically when the Bank of Australia, they come out and they give you an in-depth analysis of what the economic state or condition of a country is and how what's currently going on might influence the future interest rate decision. And why is that important? Because interest rates, we know, can have an either negative or positive effect on consumers, and for investors as well. Here we've got the USD Core PCE price index. Now I've spoken about this many times. This PCE, or the price index, basically outlines personal interest payments and personal current transfer payments, and also it calculates the value of goods and services purchased by or on behalf of any person. Okay, and these are high impact news. Other ideas of high impact news are GDP, NFP as well, and then we've got many different types of, we've got interest rate decisions as well. Now one thing you don't want to do is when this data gets released, You don't want to just go and buy like, oh my god, it's positive, let's buy. No, it doesn't work like that. If you've ever studied, if you not studied, but if you ever looked at a trade while the NFP happened, you'll see there's first that long as spike. And you're like, but it's positive data. Why are we spiking up and then down again? You want to wait for the market to settle down first. So you want to receive the data and go, okay, the data is positive. Now I'm going to go and have a look at what we've got from a sentiment perspective and what we got from an order flow perspective. Now that is fundamental data which drives the long-term momentum of the market. And you always want to come up here and click the red box because you want to look for the high impact news, the news that impacts the currency the most at the end of the day, or the things within the country that has a very big impact on them as well. So you've got your sentiment data now and you've got your fundamental data. The next thing we're going to look at here is order flow data. Now the order flow data tells us exactly what the big banks, JP Morgan and his friends are doing, institutions, so the big banks, hedge funds and institutions are doing in the market. What you want to do is you basically want to focus on the net positions. So the overall net positions tells us exactly whether they are interested in buying and selling or selling. And you want to look at this point over here. If the net positions are decreasing, it tells you that the big boys in the market, they're not interested in buying the AUD. If it increases, slightly increases as well, it tells you that they are interested in buying the AUD. Now you can see how we went from a minus 81,000 to minus 78,000. So we are down, a couple of thousand from what we were, which showed us that they are interested in buying the AUD. So for here, you just want to focus on that point over there. Okay. Now we're going to go back to the chart again. So the most important thing that you want to keep in mind over here is you want to get this data, you want to get all of this information out first, and then you want to come over here and you want to look at the technical data. Now, technical data refers to everything in technical that you see in technical analysis. That is resistance, support, trend lines, counter trend lines, the different patterns, head and shoulders, inverted head and shoulders. And now you've got all your data. You've got positive news for the US dollar. You know that the retail traders are selling. You know that the order flow data tells us this as well. And also remember one thing, the only reason why I'm looking at the data for the AUD only and not the AUD USD is because all currencies trading on the spot trades against the USD. So when you look at data for the AUD, you're actually looking at data for the AUD against the USD. Now, unless you're looking at AUD NZD, then you will have to look at the data for the AUD and the NZD. But if you're looking at data for anything against the USD, you can just look at the one currency, because if they're selling here, then they're buying on the other side. Or if they're buying here, you can expect them to sell on the other side in terms of the USD perspective as well. Now, coming back to the technical data. So then you want to come back to the technical data, and now you want to start looking for certain things. So I'm going to give you guys a breakdown here on the data that we've selected. Firstly, we've got 68% of them long. We had some positive data for the US dollar based off the last report. And if we look at the technical data, and so if you look at the last report, so we still have to wait for the new report to come out as well. So we know that we've got positive data from a USD perspective. Now, the type of price action that we got here, the type of structure that we got here on a monthly time frame is we have this level of support that just got broken and it's now testing it as resistance. So there is a pullback expected from this level as well. If you drop down on the weekly time frame, what do we have over here? Now we can see here from a weekly perspective how the market just completed this information to the neckline. And by definition, once the market completes an information to the neckline, you can expect the market to continue lower from there as well. So everything is telling us there's a good opportunity for us to sell. Next thing, if we take our Fibonacci there, because we had this massive impulse, and after impulse we got this correction, you can see how the market pulled back and broken above the 0.382 on its way to the 50%, which is probably not going to get to, but we'll need to monitor price from there. And then the next thing you want to do will be to drop down on the daily time frame. Now, here on the daily time frame, we can see how the market is currently testing this daily structure. Also, we've got this daily structure over here. Now, we expect the AUD to get weaker in the short term. So this pullback over here is expected. Why? Because this area over here acted as a strong level. If you go back, you can see there it was support, got broken and became resistance. Resistance got broken and it's now turned support. So from here, we can expect the market to pull back next week. Okay, let me just remove this because it is kind of a problem. So we can expect the market to pull back to this level over here before continuing higher in the long term. And then next year, we can also see that we've got a lot of high impact news. So we just need to make sure that we watch out for that as well. Now, this video was quite lengthy, but if you enjoy the content, please smash that like button because it really helps the YouTube algorithm. And don't forget about the 1,000 subs competition that we got. 2 people will get a chance to walk away with a lifetime mentorship program, and also 2 people will get an opportunity to sit in my signal group, my other signal group. I also got a free signal group where I say news and some of the signals that I do take on a daily basis, and I will leave the link in the description below for that Telegram channel. Now, thank you guys for your time. Thank you for watching the video. I really appreciate it. Cheers for ears.